An unknown reference to the mythical lost continent of Atlantis was made by Theophrastus in ancient texts. The passage from Aemilianus, who rescued an unknown reference to the mythical Atlantis of Theophrastus, a contemporary of Alexander the Great. And if you see the video before this one, Alexander the Great found what he was looking for. A very ancient advanced technology having to do with the electromagnetic ley lines of the earth, and very advanced, what would we call it, interdimensional travel, materializing and dematerializing, and also the ability to control people's thoughts. And he did go into the area of the Taklamakan Desert of China with his warriors, 30,000 of them. He lost 10,000 of them. He was to meet an Atlantean extraterrestrial who was supposed to give him this technology. It was something like the lightning rod of Zeus, a copy of which is in one of the Buddhist monasteries in the Himalayas. So the passage from Aemilianus concerning mythical Atlantis, written by Theophrastus, who was the contemporary of Alexander the Great, who lived around 330 BC. It's about a dialogue between Midas of Pyrgus and Selinus. I have kept the style of the text as I read it in the book, I Ekpantikes, Ancient Greek by Antonios Kallas, and the description is as follows. Theopompus narrates a conversation between Midas the Pyrgian and Selinus. Selinus is the son of a nymph, god, but invisible in the nature of human beings, since he was also immortal. Many others, among others, were held, but the following were the most important of what Selenius said in his superior wisdom to Midas. So he said that Europe, Asia, and Africa are islands in comparison to Epirus, northern Greece. They existed in ancient times beyond the known world. So immense was the size of it. This continent was the last one, which raised giant animals on it, and the people lived on it were twice the size of the people of the time when the story took place. So we're talking about giants here. At the time of their life was not as long as we live, but twice as long. In other words, they had longevity. And there were many cities on it, and various lives of the seers, and their laws were contrary to our own. And their cities were very rich, and one of those cities had a population of over 1 million people. Gold and clay were nevertheless found in great quantity. Then Elianos narrates that there was a constant war mainly between the two cities, one of which was called Machimus and the other Ephesus. So the pious lived in peace and deep wealth and received the fruits of the earth without plow and labors, because to them everything flowed unsparingly and unreservedly. Having lived all their lives healthy and immune, they died laughing and suffering exceptionally. And they were undoubtedly so righteous that even the gods did not feel the need to study with them. And the inhabitants of the city of Machimus were also armed, constantly fighting and enslaving their enemies. Thus this city is the ruler of many nations. They rarely die of disease because most succumb during wars. Such was the abundance of gold and silver compared to them that they had less value than them, or as much as iron has with us. And once they attempted to pass thus into our own country, and having sailed the ocean with an infinite number of troops, they reached as far as the Hyperboreans, we're talking about somewhere towards the north, and realizing the misery in which we live, however, they disdained to proceed further. This is from Theophrastus, who lived between 372 BC to 287 BC. He was a philosopher of antiquity. He's considered a continuation of the work of Aristotle, whom he succeeded as director of the Peripatetic school. In other words, Aristotle and his successors used to philosophize as they were taking walks through nature. And this I've translated from a Greek article. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support, and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.